Your question, the member from Beaches East York.
Well, thank you, Speaker. And my question is to the Minister of Energy. In the 2013 long-term energy plan, our government made it a priority to ensure that 16 remote First Nation communities in northwestern Ontario will get connected to the electricity grid. The project is known as the Watay Power Project. And in the minister's 2006 mandate letter, the Premier prioritized the need to continue negotiations with the federal government to secure an arrangement in support of this project. And we affirmed the project's importance in the 2017 long-term energy plan. Speaker, I know that this has also been a top priority for the Minister of Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation and every member of our government's caucus, including members from Thunder Bay and the former Energy Minister from Ottawa West Nepean.
Question.
So, Speaker, will the Minister please describe the progress that has been made on this file connecting NAN communities to the grid?
Thank you. Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I do want to thank the member for that question and, of course, his constant advocacy for his constituents and in this sector as well. And I know last week, Mr. Speaker, I was in Thunder Bay along with the Premier and the Minister of Municipal Affairs, and of course in spirit and in heart with the Minister of Northern Development and Mines, to announce that Ontario and the federal government will be partnering with Watay Power and Fortis Ontario to connect 16 remote First Nation communities to our province's clean, reliable and affordable electricity grid, Mr. Speaker. And many of these communities have had to depend upon costly and dirty diesel generation power, Mr. Speaker. And by moving forward, this completed project will connect over 14,000 people to our clean electricity grid for the first time, Mr. Speaker. And in this process, we've greatly improved the quality of life for these 16 communities.
Supplementary.
Well, thank you, Speaker, and I want to thank the Minister for the great work he has done facilitating this agreement and his ongoing work to keep our power clean, green, affordable and reliable. I'm glad our government is taking action in partnership with Indigenous communities on this very important issue. And I understand that when complete in 2023, the Watay Power Grid Connection Project will be the largest Indigenous-led and Indigenous-owned infrastructure project in Ontario's history. This is truly a remarkable accomplishment. And as the Premier has said it at the announcement, reconciliation, fairness and equity are no longer just words. In our government, they are actions, and we are walking this journey together. Ontario's economy is strong and growing, and we want to make sure all Ontarians, including First Nations, feel the benefits of that growth.
Question.
So, Speaker, will the minister tell us more about how our government is working to ensure First Nations have access to this clean, affordable, and reliable power and fully participate in economic development in their communities?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister of Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation.
Minister of Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation.
Speaker, the Watay partnership is a sign of partnership with First Nations. It's not just a question of jumping on a Tory bulldozer. Speaker, this government is not a bully. We work with 120 First Nations to support their purchase of over $250 million in shares in Hydro One, giving them the opportunity for economic development. This is a plan that the NDP wants to undo by buying back those shares. Speaker, our Fair Hydro plan and its First Nation delivery credit, which interestingly both parties voted against, cuts most on-reserve customers' bills by over 50%. Our $650 million Aboriginal Loan Guarantee Program is an initiative under the Green Energy Act that the Conservatives want to repeal.